Hello, guys. Welcome to another episode of King James Teaches. This morning I was talking to my children, and I want to touch base with you on what I spoke with them about. I spoke with them because they was telling me about this game Fortnite, and and I assumed by hearing them talk before that the game was just people fighting and stuff like that, and superheroes, but come to find out it's a game with pretty much guns and murder and kill, and people get together and run around killing other folks and stuff like that, So I got thinking about it, and I told my children what I'm going to share with you guys. If a child sits there and plays video games of murder, you could pretty much say he's pretending to murder all day. And guys, if a child pretends to do something long enough, it will not be a big deal for them to carry out the act. We forget that in Genesis chapter 6, verse 5, it says, "And God saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually." If you got kids all over the world playing games where they're running around murdering people, they're pretending to murder, guys. Their imagination is evil continually. I don't think Jesus is going to look at this any different than this. He says that if you look upon a woman to lust after her, that means if you look at her and you pretend or envision in your mind feeling on her body or touching her and doing things with her, then you've already committed adultery in your heart. So I would venture to say, with that in mind, that Jesus Christ would tell you guys, if you sit around pretending to kill people all day, I don't care if they're on a video screen or not, if you sit around and pretend to murder other humans, you might as well be committing murder. You might as well be pulling the trigger. I seen a video of an 11-year-old who shot his adopted father over a Nintendo Switch game. And, or allegedly shot. What I would like to point out is the more you let your children view things and imagine things, the more apt they are to doing them. There was a study done, and I looked this thing up. I was just sitting there one day looking up stuff and about speeches and how to talk better and how to communicate your ideals better. And it said that there was a study done, and I don't know where the study was done, but I'm sure you can Google it. I'm not making this up. There was a study done that if you took and say you had stage fright and you were afraid to get up in front of an audience and speak, that if you would just sit for a little time every day and pretend that you're in front of an audience and giving a speech, and then the crowd claps and all these things, that your brain doesn't recognize it as something that you're not really doing. If you just pretend you're doing it, that means when you get up there in front of a real crowd, your brain will calm you down because you've already done it so many times. It will be easier for you to give a speech in front of a crowd because you've pretended to do it so many times. That means, with that same idea in mind, if a child is running around with a gun pulling the trigger on people, he is pretending to murder. And that's why there's so much violence in the world today. There's always been violence. There's always been just crazy stuff. I would say that the world was way worse when they were torturing humans right there in town. They were hanging them up for the whole world to see. That was pretty bad, but never has there been a time where children are committing such heinous crimes. And I'll tell you that it's because they sit around and pretend to do it all day on a video game. You can say, well, that's just a game, Jeff. I'm sure a lot of my friends are going to give me backlash about this. But I'm just saying, let's say it like this, because I don't want you to misread in what I'm saying. Do you think that Jesus Christ would sit down and pretend to kill people on a game? They got these games that are special ops, GTA, and I don't even know what they're called because I don't play them, but games where they're running around with rifles and killing each other. And that's their imagination. It says, and that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. If you have your children, let's put it in another way. Let's say your child, would you let your child play a video game where he's running around seducing people and having sex with them? Well, no, you wouldn't. No. There's no way, Jeff, I'd let my child play that game. But you're letting them play murder. Let that sink in. You won't let them play a pornography game where they go in there and have sex with people, but you are okay with them going around pulling the trigger on people. The devil has his claws in every aspect of our life. No child wants to say, okay, Mom, well, that sounds like a bad game. I guess I won't play it no more. No child wants to do it because these games are fun. They're enticing. They're entertaining. But guys, we got to be more careful about this because the world is making money off the evil that it pushes. These games where they're going around, there's even games where they go around and they'll find people and break in their houses and just shoot them and just slap them and beat them up and steal their cars, jerk them out of their cars and kick them on the ground. I mean, just crazy things. And we wonder why our children are acting so crazy. We wonder why teenagers have no problem stabbing each other and watching each other die. Children don't have the full capacity to understand the ramifications of you're going to do life. You're going to be in prison for a very long time. They don't understand this. Right now, they're just wanting the hype of, if I stab him, he's done, he's dead, he's over, and all my friends are going to think I'm cool. There are people running around, guys, with t-shirts of murderers. You think this world is a good, moral place when half the people I see in town, even movies, let's say Batman, the last Joker that came out, you know how many people I saw wearing the Joker shirt? Where he's got, what does it say? Why the long face or whatever. And it's on the shirt and it shows and it's just a pretend killer. But the point is you are glorifying a pretend murderer. You are wearing a shirt that is upholding evil. And that's the world we live in, guys. The movies are becoming more evil. The games are becoming more evil. And if you sit around watching movies of people going around killing people, then you could just say that it's just in your imagination. But remember, God destroyed the world because the imaginations of men were evil continually. So if you're sitting around watching movies and playing video games of murder and destruction and just all these evil things that Jesus would not partake in, you will be judged by your heart. And out of your heart comes every evil thing. If you're running around with a headset on and a group of your friends breaking in places, doing special ops and shooting people and sniping people, and you're pretending to kill. You're having fun pretending to kill other people. This ain't an easy one to hear. I know it's not. It's not going to be one that y'all love to accept. because people find things that I say that are completely scriptural, and get onto my case like there's some intelligent mind and I'm some idiot. And really all I'm doing is relaying what I'm learning to you guys. But this one here, I know it's not going to go good, because people love to play video games where they're killing the bad guy. It doesn't matter if you're killing a bad guy or a good guy or any guy. You're killing guys. That phrase used to be so popular, what would Jesus do? I think it needs to come back, guys. It needs to come back more like, would Jesus partake in this? Would Paul partake in this? Do you think Jesus and Paul would sit around and play a video game where they're running around killing folks and high five when they get a murder? I don't think they will, guys. That's pretending to murder. They just dress it up as it's just a game. It's just a game. You're just killing on a game. You're just running around here shooting everybody you see because it's part of the game. It's not a game. Guys, this is life and death. And this is not a game. Your eternity is not a game. Whether you make it to heaven or hell is not a game. And Jesus Christ isn't going to say, well, you done a bunch of murdering on a game. That ain't real. No, he said if you imagine having sex with a woman you're not married to, you might as well have committed adultery with her. Then what do you think he's going to say about killing people that's on a screen? You're pretending, you're imagining murdering. You're imagining murder. This world is getting so lost, guys, that I don't understand where we could go from here. But all this was prophesied that it would turn this way. And when God looks down on earth and sees billions of children sitting in front of screens, killing people, murdering people, is that not their imaginations were evil continually? Could you say if you're playing a game where you're killing folks that it's good, that you're doing it for the glory of God? That doesn't even make sense, guys. Well, I hope you guys take some time to think about this. And listen, if you got children or if you play these games, just think about it, man. Do you think Jesus wants you to pretend killing people? Do you think he wants you to let your children pretend to murder? These things are not easy to understand, and nobody wants to be called out for doing them. What you do is you just get your kids games that is okay with God. You know, I don't necessarily like kids playing a video game, but we got our nephews some PlayStation and let them start playing. And they're playing Goku and Minecraft and stuff like that. There's video games that they can play that's not got them murdering or running around with a gun and pulling the trigger on people. You know, I understand this is going to be a hard one to accept, but parents, it's time to be parents. It's time to sit down with your children and say, listen, I love you, and I don't like the fact that you're in there pretending to kill people. What's a game we can come to an understanding and agree in the middle with? Because they're not going to want you to just take their game systems away, and I'm not saying you should do that. That's up to you as a parent. But to let them run around killing people, that's not good, man. It's not good for their imaginations to be so filled with evil. That's why it's no big deal for them to really pull the trigger. That's why it's no big deal for children to murder anymore. Anyway, if you haven't already, subscribe for more content like this. And I do a lot more studies than I do talks like this. But hit the like button, and it'll share this with more people. Maybe we can get this message out and make a difference in the world. I'm sure praying that Jesus will open your eyes if you've been allowing these things, and see that it's not too late to go ahead and stop it and make a change in your home. And I pray that every one of you guys will find a Bible and seek God. He says, "Behold, I am at the door. If any man heareth and openeth, I will come in." Thanks, guys.